Man, I love the HK slap, especially in a battle rifle. But does HK still love the HK slap? Because it seems like all they're doing is short stroke stuff. What happened to roller delayed action, guys? What happened to the roller delayed blowback? And is it still prevalent? Where is it headed? Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everybody. Clint today with Classic Firearms. Here to bring you a video all about the roller delayed blowback system and is it reliable? Because throughout history, we have learned that all sorts of different operating systems of firearms come into play. We've seen direct impingement, we've seen long stroke, short stroke, roller delay, direct blowback, short recoil. There's all of these different types of operating systems that exist. And why did HK decide to go with the roller delayed blowback system for the MP5, which is also this side, our current giveaway? Well, it starts about the tail end of World War II. The STG-45 is one of the earliest models, if not the first model, of roller delayed blowback being utilized in a rifle or a different firearm, or in a firearm, I should just say. It's ultimately the STG-44, but instead of short stroke, which the STG-44 was, it's roller delayed. Pretty interesting. Well, fast forward, a couple of years, like 20. Then you get the MP5 and HK still on their roller delayed blowback system. And what you see right here is actually a bolt and bolt carrier system out of an MP5K or SP5K model, little short guy, you know. Well, what is roller delayed? We have a whole video out there where it's a little misleading in the thumbnail because, and I do mention this in the video, but it's one of those clickbaity type of titles. It's like roller lock, right? Well, roller lock and roller delayed aren't the same thing. But, and I do clarify that in the video, and what we're talking about here is roller delayed. So first of all, what is roller delayed blowback? To lightly touch on it, unlike direct blowback, which was like what you would find in the CZ Scorpion, which I have right here, this guy, it utilizes the pressures generated from the 9mm cartridge going off in this gun to just start cycling the bolt and pushes it directly back. Just straight blowback. There's no ports in the barrel or anything like that. It's just all those pressures and energy generated right here in the breech, sending the bolt rearward. Well, unlike direct blowback, a roller delayed blowback, it has these rollers in the bolt carrier group itself. The cartridge itself and the primer sits right back here. Your firing pin is housed internally here, and then you can see where the hammer comes and strikes right back here, which then strikes the firing pin and then strikes the primer, sets the gun off, right? When that occurs, these rollers, which you see right back here again, if I push back on this guy, you can kind of see him pop out a little bit. And then when I squeeze these, you'll see the bolt actually release and unlock. Well, those rollers are waiting for the safest amount of pressure to actually start cycling the bolt rearward. Once these rollers are then deactivated, I should say, that's whenever this thing loosens up and the gun can cycle. Then once it seats, pops back in, and those rollers are set. Perfect. So it takes a little bit, ultimately what it does, it slows down the operation of the gun slightly. Probably not noticeable to the shooter, but if you've ever shot an MP5 compared to a Scorpion, then you'll know that the direct blowback design, fun, reliable, it works, it's cool, but is also pretty violent. It's a fast rate of fire, and it jumps all over the place, but it is a lot of fun. The MP5 and what people love about it, like what Katie loves about it, is it's so light recoiling, and it has something to do with those pressures. But is it reliable? And the short answer is yes. Yes, it is. Are there more reliable firearms or more reliable operating systems? That can be argued, but let's say we compare maybe the long stroke system of the AK and what we see in like PWS and stuff like that, then I would argue that maybe those are more reliable, only because you don't have as much happening. They're not as complicated as something like this with rollers that maybe dirt and stuff like that can get involved or get into. And also too, blowback designs are going to naturally be a little bit dirtier. The MP5, it's a very efficient firearm, but if you start dumping mags to it, you'll notice it will get dirty, especially back here. Again, it's still all of these gases and everything that are forcing the bolt rearward, even if they are starting to drop to safer pressures. So you'll notice that even me just playing with this guy here from the SP5K, which we don't have many rounds through, I mean, my hands are already starting to darken in color and it's getting pretty dirty. Granted, you know, how does it compare to like other operating systems as far as being dirty? Well, we've got a video coming out relatively soon where we test different systems of short stroke, long stroke DI, and we test to see how dirty that can get. Maybe one that would be pretty fun to do would be a roller delayed versus direct blowback versus short stroke, and seeing which one of those systems is the dirtiest for us when we shoot them. I think it'd be kind of fun. Well, let me know what you think about that down in the comments section. But let's go ahead and continue on here. Reliability. Are they reliable? Ultimately, the MP5 is known for being one of the most accurate little 9mm sub guns out there, and reliable. The only issue that I have ever found that some people have on these guns is quite simply this little copper extractor piece right back here. That is, from what I understand, to be one of the most, I guess you could say, the first point of failure after you start getting into a high round count on these guns. Not so much the operating system, but that extractor piece, which I think is kind of funny. So as far as the operating system goes, pretty easy. But why is it that HK has kind of left the roller delayed blowback system in the past? Like with their G3s and stuff like that, right? Because now they've moved on to like the MR762, 5.56, all these other guns that utilize the short stroke piston design. Well, there's a couple of points to maybe consider. Price? Maybe. I mean, either way, I do believe that a roller delayed system would actually be, in my mind, cheaper than a short stroke system design. I would think. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. The reason I say that, though, is because this is pretty much your whole system, other than, of course, the charging handle, right? If you look at a short stroke piston design, you've got I think it's a little bit more complicated, because now you've got ports in the barrel that are having to throw gases into a op rod, which then punches into the bolt carrier group. Then you've got a spring system. I don't know. Let me know if you think about that, but what you think about that. But anyway, so we notice, like with this battle rifle here, right? 308 awesomeness that this is. And this, of course, is the PTR 91, which is an HK 91 clone. And I can kind of show you what its operating system looks like, still roller delayed. And in my video where we talk about, you know, roller delayed and comparing it to different firearms, we kind of see that these guys, I guess you could say the suppression efficiency and shooting these guns suppressed or silenced, which is a pleasure to do in a roller delayed system. The benefits of suppressing a roller delayed system just isn't as prevalent in a longer rifle system like this guy is, right? Anyway, super easy to take apart. There, right there is pretty much your whole grip module. Awesome. And then if I pull this guy back, and right back here, there's our whole bolt carrier group. Essentially, the exact same thing. It's just obviously this piece right here, which holds your recoil spring, is a little bit longer than the one right up top here for the 9mm. So the way this works, this guy fits right into here. And that's how that functions and chambers your next round. Pretty cool if you ask me. And again, it is a relatively simple design. Same type of setup here. You see your rollers, of course, which work very well. Everything about it is very nice. There you go. Oh, that actually shows a lot better. So you can see those rollers sticking out here. And when I squeeze those, if I have the strength to do it, which I might not, yeah. Well, you guys get the idea. Let me show you on the 9mm. These obviously don't take as much pressure. If I squeeze these, you can see how that cams forward a little bit, and those pop out. Obviously, a 7.62 NATO is creating more pressures than a 9mm is. But I was just going to try. But anyway, so as you can see here, that is pretty much the whole setup of the roller delayed system. But other things to consider as to why the short stroke piston driven system seems to have taken over for HK. Let's take a look at what the United States military has done. For instance, if I'm running this guy, which they've made all sorts of different variants of this, including 5.56, and I want it to be my full auto, my machine gun, if you will, it's going to stand out. It's going to be very obvious, especially when you look at how you have to charge the firearm itself. You're reaching way out here. You can obviously see the differences visually on this gun compared to the M4. The reason I bring up the M4 is because the entire reason the Marine Corps kind of left the M249 SAW behind was because a lot of machine gunners were being easy targets for enemy sniper and sniper fire and things like that. So what they thought was, well, let's just make our machine gunners not as noticeable. Give them the M27, the IAR, which ultimately looks like an M4, M16. It's hard to identify to the untrained eye, I guess. And so, but it's full auto. Okay, so you have that sustained rate of fire, you have that firepower of a machine gunner, just in a much more easy to use and simple system and not as easy to identify. And on top of that, it's all AR controls that we all know and love, right? But it's utilizing that short stroke system design, which is going to be a little bit cleaner shooting, which is going to be ultimately a little bit more reliable at the end of the day, compared to an M16 with its DI gun, or DI system. But anyway, so as far as reliability goes, these guns are definitely still very much so reliable. They run well. The C308, the SETMEs, with the PTR 91s, through my personal PTR 91 that I've ever shot, I mean, I have thrown some disgusting ammo in that thing, and it seems to just about eat everything. I've seen some people online say, you know, some of the roller delayed guns are actually pretty picky about their ammo. Okay, in my experience, the only time that I've ever seen maybe an MP5 be picky is initial break-in. I think the recommendation is to shoot like anywhere between 100 to 500 rounds of a heavier projectile just to break this thing in and just keep on running and running and running. So cool. Once you get that break-in period done, throw just about anything in it. 115 grain, 147, you know, subsonic, 124, whatever the heck you want. And I think we might try it in some 95 grain soon just to see how it runs. Throw a silencer on 95 grain, why the heck not? Just see what it's like. But anyway, so as for me though, they've always been very reliable guns, and of course I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Have you had issues with roller delayed systems? The reliability is definitely there. They've been proven for decades. This gun here is still in service all throughout the country, all throughout the world, and is still a favorite among enthusiasts, among operators, shooters, whatever it might be. And granted, there's lighter options out there, there's more modern options out there, but this is still an absolute favorite. And is it because simply of the roller delayed system? It's not exactly the most left-hand friendly shooting gun, and one of my closest friends, he's a lefty and runs his MP5 clone very effectively. Kind of blows my mind, actually. I wouldn't be able to do the entire maybe I would. Yeah, actually I would be able to do that. So, you know, maybe it's actually more friendly than I thought. Maybe the MP5 still is king then. But what about when I talked about more modern firearms? That roller delayed action is obviously still sought after because you've got manufacturers like Engstedt who've produced a AR-9 with a roller delayed action. That's cool. You've got, well, this guy, the Strybog here from Grand Power. This is the SP9A3, which utilizes a roller delayed action for an affordable price comparatively. So there's that. Now they also have one that takes Glock mags. Is roller delayed obsolete? Nah. I don't see it going anywhere. I see more people expanding on it because of how popular this thing is right here. So, again, I'll see you guys down in the comment section below. All